This past Wednesday, the offensive coaching staff met with the media over at the Steel Pipe Center at Veneer Family Complex. It's a beautiful facility as well. Goodness gracious, I haven't been in there in forever. But, you had Matt Wells leading the charge. And while he didn't drop any bombshells from spring ball so far, he did dive into some key developments, most notably Avery Johnson's growth and his size and speed. Here's what Coach Matt Wells had to say on Wednesday. But before we dive into that, let's just get one thing straight. All right, college football does not have an offseason. It does not have an offseason whatsoever. The games may stop, but the action never does. You got spring practices, transfer portal moves, conference realignment galore. It's a year-round spectacle. And for coaches, players, and athletic directors, it is a grind. But for us YouTube content creators, it's a damn gold mine, all right? And as someone who spent hours watching YouTube sports talk, I figured, why not jump in on all the chaos? Whether it's K-State, the Big 12, or college sports as a whole, I got plenty to talk about, and I'm ready to bring you all kinds of content. If you are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It is right below my massive forehead right here, so you probably can't miss it, all right? It's right below me. It sticks out. It sticks out just like my big forehead. I have self-reflection problems. I can't handle it. What you can do is subscribe, though. It's easy. Just hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Hope you enjoy what's coming up, and let's get this show on the road.
The 9 months and him gaining weight, and he's right at 200, and he's gotten bigger. He's gotten faster. He's literally gotten faster. He's holding it well, and I think he'll gain some more over the summer and start camp. The heaviest has been, but he'll also start camp the fastest that he's been too.
And once again, this kind of feels like one of those moments where fat shaming probably comes into the conversation here, if I'm being frankly honest. The whole buck up a few pounds narrative. I'm not saying he's overweight by any means, but he's definitely built up a little bit more than we've seen over the last 2 years. And you don't have to be the most shredded guy on the field, or you don't have to be the most shredded guy to be one of the best quarterbacks. I love Patrick Mahomes, a little dad gut right here. Good. But what was he, Grant? 190, $190 last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what. That's, for a guy with his frame, frankly, legit. And Grant, I'm sure you can see it on firsthand, the work that goes through with the strength staff and nutrition, with the nutrition team behind these scenes. It's not just about looking the part. It's about building the body that holds up for a full Big 12 season.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The training staff is nuts there. I came in my freshman year beginning of June, and by the end of July, I was up 15 pounds. It's legit, man. So, if Avery puts on 10 pounds, he's run the fastest he's ever ran, give it to me. Avery Johnson, if he's running that fast and he's put on 10 pounds and he's throwing the ball well, that's all good with me. But the training staff is legit, and a lot of guys they look like different players. When you get to see them in the breakout sessions, it's nuts. So
yeah, you were a soccer built player.
Yes.
You were definitely a soccer built player. Jake Stevens.
Yeah, I think it's important, too, to remember that, like Grant noted there, Avery's he's quite literally the fastest he's ever been, and Coach Wells said it, too. But, he's a guy running 23 miles an hour that's up to 200 pounds. They expect him to get up to around 205, which is a very, very healthy playing weight for a quarterback, especially if he can keep moving the way that he's moving. And that's just all a testament to Coach True. The work that he does in the offseason with those guys, and even throughout the season, but they prolonged their weightlifting segment of spring ball for an extra 3 weeks this year, just to get guys faster, put a little bit more muscle on. And it shows not only with Avery, but really with everybody. I saw Toby, he looked huge. Cheedy looked huge. Taylor Portier, he put on 3 pounds, but he lost 8 pounds of fat and gained 11 pounds of muscle. That is incredible. He lost body fat and got heavier, which it's fantastic. It's all healthy weight that's getting put onto these guys, or dropping off bad weight that they don't need. So that's all Coach True. He's the best in the business at what he does, and he's got these guys looking pretty darn sharp for mid-April. knowing that the season starts a week earlier than normal this year too.
Absolutely. Shifting the focus to Avery's on-field development, we already saw he's got strong leadership traits. Now it's about continuing to grow and learning the system, sharpening his in-game mechanics, and getting more comfortable in the pocket. Here's what Coach Matt Wells had to say about that.
The more Avery grows and learns and develops, the more we do. And, man, I've been so proud of him for the last 4 months. And he has grown, his leadership, his maturity, but in his knowledge, football knowledge, our specific knowledge of this system, and maybe even some new things and maybe old things and all of that combined. But, man, he's been awesome for the last few months. Specific things that we're working on, whether it's pocket movement and a presence in the pocket and his footwork and his base, a deep ball. I think those are things that come to mind right now. But I think there's also a leadership component that I've seen grow in him naturally over the years. Sometimes the people want to, just give the quarterback position all this leadership, and certainly there is a leadership platform that comes with the quarterback position, but you have to grow into that naturally, and he was willing to do that. I wanted him to just play well last year, and a lot of times, and let your play speak for yourself, and then let that create the platform, because I do think there's a factor of leadership in its performance. I mean, you got to perform. You have to perform to lead.
Yeah, simply you got to perform. And looking back at the last half of a season, kind of towards the latter portion of the season, Avery started cleaning up a lot of his stuff. I was holding him back early on, against teams like Tulane and BYU, where there was just some sloppy footwork, certainly some panic in the pocket, forcing throws that just weren't there. Grant, he got those sunshine happy feet. He's got those sunshine happy feet. Drifting, bailing out too early instead of climbing back in the pocket. But you could tell he began trusting his protection more and staying within the structure of the play. And from a mental standpoint, his football IQ is also trending in the right direction as well. He's processing coverages quicker, going through the progressions more smoothly, making better decisions with the football. That field vision is certainly coming along as well. And I suppose, Lance, you're talking about a restocked receiving room. You're talking about a stacked and elite group of tight ends as well, headlined by the 5-star Lincoln Cure, and then you got Dylan Edwards in the backfield as kind of a tailback. Avery Johnson's going to have a lot of weapons and a lot of mouths to feed, sure, but even more so, a lot of guys he's going to need to command as kind of the upperclassman now, as he approaches becoming more of an upperclassman.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this offense. I think Avery Johnson's going to make a huge step. We're going to get to see, Connor Riley. Wow, Connor Wells, not a person.
Connor Wells,
not a person, but
that's gonna be a burner account.
Connor Riley did a good job last year, I think, but there was some times where the offense felt bland, and he's an offensive line coach, and so he was really predicated on the run game. And I'm very interested to see, with Matt Wells, being taken over as the primary offensive coordinator this year. I'm really excited to see, a quarterback-friendly offense. I think there was a clip of the triple option being ran in spring ball, and I'm really excited to see that a little bit, get some of that modern triple option. But I do think Avery is probably going to take a step in the leadership department. We have a lot of new guys in the receiving room, and I think, as we've seen the last couple of years, hopefully we can get a bigger ceiling this year. But I think there's probably going to be a couple weeks where maybe some of the transfers are not as productive as we'd hoped. But I'm really excited to see that, and I want to honestly see a little bit. This might be a hot take. I'm excited to see him scramble a little bit more.
Oh my gosh!
I feel like I think a little bit of last year there was a little bit of happy feet in the back, and he was, I don't know if someone was telling him not to scramble, and he was too focused on proving the doubters wrong. I think Matt Wells kind of talked about it, where it's let your performance speak, and I think I'm really excited to see him, play how Avery Johnson should play.
Oh my gosh, we better stop throwing flowers at him. It's gonna keep making Tennessee fans so hungry. They're just looking at Avery Johnson right now. They're just looking at him, those traffic cone T-shirts, just thinking to themselves, you know what? I don't know how we're gonna land him. but we're going to get them because we're Tennessee.
Nothing makes me happier than when Tennessee fans are bad. I mean, it's the best thing in the world. Those zombies in East Tennessee, they start crawling out of the attics and the crevices and the hills of Appalachia, and they say they're all scary, and they got the big orange dream, and I mean, just whatever. I mean, freaking whatever, dude. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even care. They just need to, I mean, they're the worst people in the world. That is just shut up. You're not getting freaking Avery Johnson. That's a freaking Kansas State Wildcat right there, John. That's what Avery Johnson is. That's a freaking Kansas State Wildcat, baby. Come on.
That's a freaking Wildcat right there. Am I right? Am I right, Grant Snowden?
Freaking Wildcat, yo.
Absolutely.
Dude, their stadium literally every Saturday looks like a garbage truck workers convention. Like, that's what Tennessee looks like.
It kind of does.
And they pattern themselves that way. It probably smells like that. Like, I don't even know. It probably smells like an actual garbage truck convention. That's crazy. And I think that Avery Johnson wants to go there with his beautiful, luscious blonde hair. No way.
With his beautiful, blonde, luscious locks.
Yeah, he doesn't
long-haired Greek
He doesn't
god.
want to go be in a garbage dump.
We're
Freaking
talking about
Kansas State Wildcat, punch mouth, smack you in the mouth. Then we're going to spread it out. We're going to give teams a lot of different looks this year, and we're going to be the best team in the Big 12. We're talking about freaking Kansas State Wildcat football, John. We're not here to get sad about it.
We're
fired up right now.
We're fired up.
We're positive vibes right now, John. That's where we're at.
Positive vibes.
That's what we're doing here in Wildcat 91.9. We're freaking positive vibes is what we're doing.
Hell yeah, brother.
Kansas State football.
Hell yeah, brother, man. Let's go. Let's go. We're talking K-State football here on Wildcat 91.9. Jon Grove, Grant Snowden, Jake Stevens, Lance Eisele.
There we go. That was it. There we go.
I'm on fire tonight, boys. Watch out. It's going to be a fun night at the bars. Anyways, continuing on with the spring football talk. A former head coach in an air raid heavy system down in Lubbock looks as if he's shifting gears. All right, for spring, he is establishing the run and is playing a little bit more aggressive edge on the ground. To simply put it, it's run the ball season. Here's what Coach Matt Wells has to say.
Mindset is we want to continue to be physical. You want to run the ball. You got to run the ball late in the year, late in the game, late in the year. So I think that's always a mindset of physicality. That's the Power Cat. That's K-State. That's who this program's been for a long time. And so I think we want that. But, you know, I just think aggressive, and you're taking shots and you're using the weapons that you have and trying to use them to the best of your ability as a coach and give kids, you know, opportunities to make plays down the field.
You know, we saw moments where the offense wasn't afraid to take shots downfield, especially with Avery Johnson and Jace Brown connecting at certain points during the season, all right? Especially the Colorado game, 50-yard touchdown pass to win the game. Iowa State to get themselves back into contention as well. It was still a bit of an issue. Just in terms of how the offense was, I think it was a little bit vanilla. It got a little bit too predictable, more specifically on second down. If a first down play didn't generate solid yardage, K-State would likely just default to the same zone read with DJ Giddens looking to set up a manageable third down situation. And a lot of that was likely due to some miscommunication, lack of cohesion in the offensive line, maybe not getting a proper push to create the open gaps in the open lanes. But with a guy like DJ Giddens, you'd expect more out of an attack mentally, especially with a defense that starts to creep down into the box. And this upcoming season, you know, I'm not expecting to see more varied concepts, are not just the standard zone read on second down, trying to expand it a little bit. And Grant, I think with a more dynamic quarterback and with the weapons on the outside, I think you got to look for K-State to stretch the field and exploit mismatches with the opportunity it presents itself.
You're absolutely right, John. I think last year the offense got really predictable. You know, I'm almost glad. Like, Connor Riley was a great coach, great offensive line coach, and he 110% deserves the job he got up there with the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm excited for Matt Wells to kind of take over this solo role and kind of have his opportunity to run the offense the way he wants to run it. And you talk about all these weapons, John. This is going to be a really fun Kansas State offense to watch, one that a lot of K-State fans probably aren't used to. We have if the wide receiver room is going to be as good as it's starting to look like, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch Avery Johnson throw footballs to those guys. And you talk about the tight ends room. Garrett Oakley, Braden Lofton, bringing a guy like Lincoln Cure. Wells talked about a guy like Will Ancio at the press conference and how much he's improved. To bring back Will Swanson. There's a lot of guys that can make a lot of plays on this offense, and I'm really excited to see what Matt Wells has cooked up here for this Kansas State team.
Yeah, and I think one thing to keep in mind, too, is you're going to see a lot of differences this year in this offense. There were times, I think Connor Riley actually did a really nice job last year. I think there were times in games where sometimes the best offense we learned was just give the ball to DJ Giddens and let him go. And there were games like the Colorado game I think about. There were a lot of times in that game where it was just like, just let DJ be DJ. And I don't even know going into the season if we knew we had that. But this year, we've got speed. I mean, we have speed everywhere. We have the fastest quarterback in the country, probably the fastest running back in the country, which I don't know if K-State's ever really truly had that. I mean, it's like top end national speed.
Can I add in one of the fastest tight ends in the country as well, Lincoln Cure, coming out of Acacia State Track in Goodland.
And he's not even here yet. Like
he's not even here yet.
He's a guy that they're going to get him in the summer. They're going to put some healthy weight on him. I'm sure, and continue to get him faster. So it's speed everywhere. Jace Brown's got speed. We've got some big receivers outside we're going to be able to throw the ball up to. But one of the things Matt Wells said the other day in his press conference was, I like fast.
He likes fast.
I like fast.
I like fast. Yeah.
You know what Matt Wells also likes? He also likes guys that can catch some balls. Here's what Matt Wells has to say.
Can you look forward a little bit and kind of gauge perhaps what their potential could be come fall?
Yeah, they'll be really good. They're gonna catch a lot of balls. You put those two and Jace in our tight end room and JD and then you add our running backs and our Joe and Dylan can catch the ball, and Dylan will and can go play in the slot with Joe, without Joe. Joe can flex out and Joe can run routes, and so I love that about both backs, that they can catch balls.
Oh my goodness, it just got Grant Snowden so excited it sent shivers down his spine.
Yeah.
Grant Snowden. What are you gonna do? I don't understand, Jake. How do you deal with him on a consistent basis?
You know what you do, John?
What?
Spread them out 5 wide. Throw Dylan in the slot, throw Lincoln in the slot.
Exactly.
Get Jaron Bradley on the outside, get Tibbs on the other outside, and throw Jace Brown in the middle of something. That's how you deal with a guy like Grant Snowden.
Open the damn playbook.
You freaking spread them out.
Absolutely.
You start throwing the ball downfield a little bit. You start running around. You get Avery Johnson loose. Let him run around. Just let him go. Let him move like a Kansas State freaking Wildcat wearing purple shoes.
Your face
Jordy
just
Nelson.
Your face just reminds me of Jon Gruden.
Yeah.
I think, dude, you're kind of embracing kind of a Jon Gruden role.
Dude, I love football. Hey, Will Howard, you love football? I love football. Write that down. You love football, John.
Running around Manhattan, Kansas, it's like a wildcat. Like a wildcat.
You think Jordy Nelson used to wear purple shoes? Hey, what about a guy like Darren Sproles? Not the tallest back, but quicker than a freaking hiccup, dude. I mean, I'm talking about the Kansas State Wildcats. I'm talking about Jace Brown getting open downfield somewhere. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Garrett Oakley catching a little crossing pattern over the middle, going into the end zone. That's what I'm talking about. Freaking Kansas State Wildcats, baby.
Freaking Kansas State Wildcats, baby. Lance, do you have any final thoughts before we go to into our final break? Goodness gracious.
I mean, I'm just excited. We finally get I'm excited for just to spread it out, And you talked about Dylan in the slot, and we're finally getting a coach that realizes players don't have to play just one position. They can move around. And if you got speed like that, you might as well put Joe Jack in the back and let Dylan run.